Welcome back to week 10 of the Betsies Pod, NFL podcast and picks. Ashley Pren is live from Palm Springs, so smoke them if you got them and pour yourself a stiff one. We're day drinking today, baby. It's Friday night in America. Ashley, how the hell are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Not as good of a week as I had the week before, but Bengals won, got the shirt as
She's
promised.
got the shirt on. She's wearing the shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt. So
She's wearing the shirt.
I'm feeling optimistic about my picks this week. Yeah, let's get it going.
Ashley Pren, the cash queen. I, of course, am Devin Walker, and you are listening to the Betsies Pod. Let's go! All right, so quick tangent before we get things going. I've been going to a booty building class at my local gym. Last night was a good class. It's all lightweight, high rep, tight buns, as they call it, workouts. So that photo that you just saw of me in a Speedo is only going to get better. I just wanted to point that out as we do get into the winter season. I will be taking vacations. I will be below the Mason-Dixon, and you can count on an updated photo by the Super Bowl. So you all have that to look forward to. Moving on. It was a red wave for your boy today. And you want to know what? I want to get this part of it over with. So let's just cue it up. Let's recap the bets now, and we're just going to move on. So obviously, as you can see here, my bet slip was voting Republican last week, and we hate to hear that. Titans, Chiefs, and the Raiders with the over in the Bills-Bengals game, that's a loss. Same game parlay, Kelsey anytime tutty, Tyreek anytime tutty, Chiefs money line, that's a loss. The 7-leg ruin your day teaser, of course, ruined my day. That's a loss. Pounded the Titans at plus 200. That's a loss. And my girl dinner bet was exactly that. It was a girl dinner. It was microwavable. It was trash. There were petrochemicals, and that was a loss. I'm the Oprah Winfrey of losses last week. Look under your seat. That's a loss. So we're hoping to get back on track this week. Ashley, you had a bit of a better week. Let's recap you quickly here from week 9 following a great week 8 performance. Take it away.
Yeah, so Bengals money line, knew that was going to hit, stuck to the bet, wore the T-shirt. That was a big hit. Love to see Big Joe back. Philly, Dallas came close. Philly ultimately took the win away. The Bucks and the Pats both ruined my entire weekend. That was a loss. Rams, looks like we've got Carson Wentz in the picture after that loss. Live alert with the Vikings. Live alert with the Vikings. That took. I really love seeing Josh Dobbs do well. I think he's a stand-up guy. Ravens money line on the live alert, never got there. I did take the spread personally, that cash, but that doesn't count for this podcast. Same with the Steelers, and my girl dinner bet was atrocious because Tyreek Hill had his worst game to date. But we're looking forward to this weekend. I'm still in the green. Hopefully, can keep going that way after 2 weeks ago hitting it big. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this week.
Green means go.
Green means go.
And we are going to go right. I say it every week. It's everybody's favorite segment. It's named after my co-host. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but she's in sunny Palm Springs. All right. So there could be a bit extra pep in her step for this episode. Let's get right into it. We're talking about First and Pren. Yeah, we're back and we're switching things up because last week we ping ponged and you went first and I sucked. So if the if history repeats itself, it's going to repeat itself on you this week because I'm starting us off. I've got first down and I've got a stat for you all that blew my mind. It's about interim head coaches. And I only bring this up because the Raiders obviously had an interim head coach. And what did the Raiders do? They win the game. Let me just break this down for you and look out for interim head coaches moving forward because there's a few other head coaches on the chopping block, I do believe. 14-9 straight up since 2010 are interim head coaches in their first games. And in 16 of those 23 games, they were underdogs. So not only do they cover the spread when you get a little bit of new blood with the head coach headset on, but you also win the game. So this is just something to keep track of. 14-9 straight up money line. If someone else gets fired and they put an interim head coach in there, the points are free. Take the money line. Take the money line. Do what I did last week with the Raiders, who saved my week. It wasn't a bet I put on this pod, but you know I'm bleeding silver and black, so I gotta be all over them. 14-9 interim head coaches since 2010 in their first games. Outstanding, electric. First down, Ashley Brent.
I got to go back to the well. I got to go back to the Bengals. The challenge part 2 for the Bengals. This is I think all the games that they have the rest of the season are going to define if they deserve to be in the playoffs or, dare I say, even a Super Bowl spot. The Texans are a really good team. They scored over 40 points last week. They beat the Bucs. They're good when it comes down to game time decisions, winning decisions. They were clutch in the fourth quarter. So I do think that this is a legitimate test for the Bengals. I do not think the Texans are an easy win. And they're also only favored by 3.5. But I'm going back to the well, taking Joe. Bengals for the win this week.
Bengals money line on Ashley's first down. Pops back over to Didi for second down, and I want to talk about arguably the most electric defensive end duo that college football has ever seen. And I don't want to jump the gun here, but this has potential to be a top 10 defensive end duo all time in the NFL. We're going to see how Nick Bosa and Chase Young reunite after playing together at Ohio State. I saw an interesting interview with Chase Young about how he needs Bosa to play well because he's got this weird competition in his mind. When Bosa went to the NFL, he was still at Ohio State. He was tracking his games and trying to outperform him in the following week.
Wow.
That is a dangerous combination. I don't think he could have found a better fit at any point in time. You get back together with someone that you have chemistry with. You get back together with a team that's on a slide. You're going to get to this in one of your downs as well. That's in a must-win now situation. Electric offense, electric defense, big plays all over the field. I am obsessed with this front office move by the 49ers, pairing Nick Bosa and Chase Young back together. I think it was the best move made in the NFL by this trade deadline. There's a few others out there. Obviously Fournette to the Bills is a great fit as well. But for me, Nick Bosa and Chase Young, highest upside of any trade that happened this season in the NFL. And I am fired up to watch these two pin their ears back and harass quarterbacks for the remaining games in this season. I think we see a deep playoff run by the 49ers. Pren, thoughts on Bosa and Young reuniting and it feeling so good?
I'm actually going to take this to what would have been my third down, but I think it ping pongs nicely off of this. This is a must win for the Niners this week. I like them back together, but does that fix the offense? I don't know. I think that this week will be telling. It's definitely a must win. I'm excited to see what Chase Young is going to do in his first game with the Niners. Personally, I like the 49ers. I wouldn't be upset to see them go all the way, but I do think that with that trade, this is a must win for them this week.
I absolutely agree. This is one of those situations where you're going to either put up or shut up, and your fan base is either going to rally behind you, or you're going to start to hear murmurs about what went wrong. So,
Yeah.
um, I believe that the Niners, they're in one of my plays. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I believe it's a must win for the Niners. I like the third down take in the second down position. A little bit
Got to
of
switch it up. Call the audible,
trickery, a little bit of an audible,
Yeah.
and like that here. We're flexible, okay? We're gonna move on to my third down, and I'm gonna just say this. Get ready for my girl dinner bet. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but dare I get back on the horse? Dare I? I'm not sure. Do we believe in the Bills? I don't know. Do we believe in the Broncos? I'm not sure. But you're going to want to stick around and find out, because I'm going to let you know in my girl dinner bet exactly what I'm going to do, but it has to do with the Broncos. I did pick
Oh
up Jerry
God.
Judy on the waiver wire.
So
I
did
did
I.
pick him
You did
up.
too. So did
I
I.
did. I did pick him up following an 11-point fantasy performance, depending on the rules of your league. I think Judy goes for a big game, and I might just be back on those horses. Pren, second down.
Sorry, I muted myself and went off mute. Second down. The Bucks have made their way to my do not bet list, which is so disheartening as a Buccaneers fan, but I kept hammering personally on the when the Texans kept creeping up, because I was so confident that they were going to come back, and they just broke my heart last week. So the Bucks are on the do not bet list, even though they might creep into one of my parlays. I actually can't remember. But
Okay, so that is it by definition. The not do not bet list.
it's the toxic
That's what
acts
you
that
are
you can't
betting.
stay away from. It's the
I
toxic
know.
acts you can't stay away from.
Trust me.
But 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 they really broke my heart. I've lost faith. And in itself, though, does that mean that we're at the point of the Baker cycle where he turns it around? I don't know. Time will tell. Raiders have moved their way off my do not bet list. Cashed in big on that money line personally, not for this pod purposes, but I read something that the Raiders locker room is a different with their new coach. And
Yeah, he's a guy's guy.
I do. I don't think that the rest of their season is terribly intense comparatively across the board. So they've made their way off the do not bet list. Bucks have made their way on.
Yeah, it's a good swap. I think if you do have a situation where you've only got a finite amount of spots on your do not bet list, I would agree that taking the Raiders off is the right move. I think they rattle a few off together here. This seems like a team that is rallying behind a new coach and a new quarterback, and they've got new life. And that's kind of the recipe for success for middle of the road teams. Is, can you find that extra edge? Can you find that extra thing that's going to, make you, as Al Pacino once said, reach for that extra inch, right? Because it is a game of inches. And we are on fourth down, and it's fourth down in inches, and no one can argue with this take. Germany might be getting the worst football game of the year. Colts Pats. That game sucks. So what do I do as a gambler, as someone who typically does wake up around 9 a.m.? I want to watch the game. It's a standalone game. Do I bet? Don't I bet? I definitely bet. But what do I bet? That's the real question here, because the Colts stink, the Pats stink, and Germany's getting a disservice. This is not what the NFL is all about. I'm sure the stadium will be rocking. I'm sure they'll be excited to be there. They'll be having brats and beers. But for me, this is not a game I would go pay to see. I have to watch it because I'm addicted to watching NFL football. And I don't know where I'm going to bet yet, but I will find value in this game at some point. It's as I'm saying this, I'm like, it's a bad fourth down, but it's a fourth down nonetheless. Real bad game in Germany. Sorry, but you guys kind of deserve it. Moving on, fourth down, going to Brent.
I kind of like the under for that game, honestly. I like the under. If you wanted to parlay it, yeah, I like the under for that. But moving on to my fourth down, I'm confident need the first down. I know what's going to happen. The Giants just might as well throw this season in. It's not going to happen for them. Daniel Jones, game 1 back off of injury, and he gets hurt again. And I'm pretty sure they put him on injury reserve. Thyroid Taylor is also on IR, and same with Darren Waller. So it's just not going to get done for the Giants. They're playing the Cowboys this week. It's going to be a bloodbath, and we'll see this later on in my best bets, but it's just time to call it on the Giants. It's not going to happen this year.
16.5 might be the largest line we've seen so far this season. I don't know. I'll fact check myself on that, but 16.5 is a college football line. I mean, there is no respect going to the Giants there. I completely agree. Not a lot of disagreement here, and I actually like that for the symbiotic nature of this pod, right? You help me, I help you situation. Let's get into our best bets of week 2. I have named them all, and I think I cracked the code on this because not only do they have good names, but they all kind of play off of each other. I'm just gonna start right now with the away we go parlay. These are 3 away teams, right? I've got the Niners, the Saints, and the Lions, all money lines. Niners, we've discussed it, in a must win. Lions, playing a Chargers team I just don't believe in. And the Saints come marching back into my good graces with a big win last week. Can they string a few together? I believe they can. I like the Vikings. I don't think they've got enough. Vikings are also on my live alert, though, so I will get to that later. I think it will be a close game. I expect the Saints to get out to an early lead here. Niners, Saints, Lions, away we go parlay, plus 364. Cash the ticket. Pren, bet one.
I'm going big this week. I took a lot of really big bets and piggybacking off my 4th down. I've got a pretty big parlay here. I've got the Dallas money line, the Dallas over. I've got Detroit money line and Cleveland money line for plus 875.
Cleveland over the Ravens. Talk to me about that.
Yes, that's the only piece that I'm like, here's the thing with the Ravens. I genuinely believe that this is a different Ravens team than we've seen in the last couple of years. In the last couple of years, what we've seen is they win, they get the Super Bowl buzz, and then it falls off, it falls flat. They blow a huge lead in the 4th quarter. While I do think that this Ravens team will go further than they have in the past couple of years, the Browns is always a really tough matchup for them. And the Browns
divisional shit show.
They're doing really well this year comparatively to the last couple seasons, and you just can't count their defense out. If I'm betting historically and I'm going with, how the Ravens have played in the past, they're kind of due for a loss.
They're due for a letdown. I agree.
They're due for a loss. Right now in the power rankings, they're team number 2. It goes Chiefs, Ravens. And I think that's just a little high. So I think they're due for a divisional loss against a really good team, all things considered. I think this is the week that they get it. And I think that this is the week that they get it if they want to go far in the playoffs. So I'm taking Cleveland.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I think they're laying 6.5. The line might have crept up to 7. Getting 6.5 might have crept up to 7. So can the Ravens sustain that? You're actually a favorite now. You're not an underdog. We believe in you. We know that you can do this kind of fandom situation that's happening. Certain teams play better when they have a chip on their shoulder. I believe the Ravens to be that style team. Let's see if they can win a game that they're favored in at home, because this would be a big letdown, and this would be the game that brings them back down to earth. So I was tempted.
On the other side, if they do win and they pull off the win, I think that solidifies their place to be in the conversation for potential Super Bowl runnings, for that potential bye week in the playoffs. So I think that this is a must win, but a could lose to solidify the Ravens spot in the playoff picture and potential Super Bowl picture for the end of this season.
You heard it here first. It's a must win, but they could lose. Um, bet two, no place like home. Okay, I did 3 away teams. Now I'm doing 3 home teams, and you can call me Homer Simpson if you'd like, one of my favorite cartoon characters. I don't care, okay? I'll drink Duff beer and say dough if you want me to. It's a no place like home parlay. I got the Steelers, I got the Raiders, and I got the Bills. Let's talk about the Steelers real quick. Do I think they're good? No. Do I think they're better at home? Yes. Raiders, we've already chatted about them. They are reinvigorated. They want to prove to everybody that it was McDaniels and it wasn't them. Give me the Raiders. And the Bills should win this game against the Broncos. Arguably a must-win could lose situation. We don't know. But you string those together, you get plus 429 on the Steelers, Raiders, and Bills in a no place like home parlay. I love the name. I love the way it feels when I say it. I'm really interested in this bet, and it's going to be a fun one to watch because this one spans over 2 days, right? It includes Sunday night and Monday night football. We're going to be watching them anyways. It could be a real interesting way to do it. Steelers, Raiders, Bills, plus 429, and Pren's back at us with her second pick, and it's a doozy.
It's a doozy, all right. I'm going out of order. I've realized. I know that we've done lowest to highest in the past, but yeah, I'm just throwing this baddie out here. It's at plus 1,500. This is a big player prop for me this week. I've been mapping out my own sort of systems with the NFL when it comes to player props. And I like the odds on this one. I've got Lamar rushing at 35, taking the over there. I've got anytime touchdown for DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, and Christian McCaffrey. And I've got Buffalo to win at plus 1,500. And I'll explain. The Lamar is a no-brainer. We know that he's consistently one of the top rushers on the Ravens team. Yeah. Mike Evans has been on par, not at the same level, but on par with Christian McCaffrey. Whoa, did that thumbs up? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's awesome. It literally means the universe believes that Mike Evans is going to score a touchdown.
It believes in me.
It's electric.
It's not me. It's Mike Evans. It's not Mike Evans. It's me. I control Mike Evans.
You're going to score a touchdown. What's the line on Ashley Pren anytime touchdown?
From Palm Springs, just going to Tampa or wherever the hell they're playing this week. No, but Mike Evans is in the same ballpark as Christian McCaffrey this season in terms of scoring touchdowns in games. He went on like a 3-game streak of a touchdown every game. He consistently has over 1,000 yards a season. I think he's due for a touchdown. I know he's frustrated. I know he's fed up. He's also playing for his future. His contract with the Bucs runs out after this season. They haven't come to an extension, and he's old. So I don't know that another team's going to want to pick him up. So I'm taking the Mike Evans anytime TD. Christian McCaffrey, no brainer. DK Metcalf. I think the Seahawks need a serious rebound. Yeah. After last weekend. And Buffalo, while I still think their season under wins is in play, it might've honestly already hit. I do think that they will end up winning this game in a must win, might lose scenario. So I'm taking this line at plus 1,500.
Sounds good to me. I'm going to piggyback right off that DK play in this next one, and it is the over your bullshit parlay, NFL. I'm fucking sick and tired of these goddamn unders, and I'm taking 3 overs. I'm stringing them all together, and one of them is that Commanders Seahawks game, which is why I like that DK anytime tutty. If that over is going to hit, they got to score touchdowns. I think DK get one. I think DK get one. I think DK gets one. Moving forward, I got the Ravens Browns over 38.5. I know the Ravens defense has been elite, but I agree with you that the Browns have a shot in this football game, and the Ravens are going to score. So if the Browns have a shot and the Ravens are going to score, I like the over. Also, in this Bucs-Titans game, the Bucs defense has been lacking of lately. This is kind of why I also like your Mike Evans tutty scenario here. I think the Bucs will score, and I think Levis keeps it close. He's going to take the top off the defense a few times. He's a legitimate run threat. 38.5 seems too low to me. So you string those all together. You get the Ravens Browns and the Bucs Titans over 38.5. You get the Commanders Seahawks over 44.5. And that's coming in at plus 596, almost a 6 times your investment with this situation here. Also, these games are over by the end of the 4 o'clock window. So it seems like a real good play to me. And I'm excited about the over your bullshit parlay here in week 10. Pren, how about your last tracked bet of the week?
My last tracked bet of the week at plus 700. I've got no brainer Bengals money line. Oh, this one's an interesting one. Now that I'm reading this out, and I'll explain it. So I've got Bengals money line. I've got Jamar Chase at least 2 touchdowns, and I've got the game over. The over is only at 47. I think that after we saw what happened with the Texans last week and with the Bengals last week, that's kind of low. It's not like either of these defenses are blowing, holding teams to not scoring any points. So I think that's really low for the game line. I'm taking the over there. Jamar Chase did not score last week, which means he's due. And in the Jamar Chase pattern that I've sort of analyzed over the last 2 seasons, he will have a game where he scores more than 1 touchdown. The only reason that I am a little reserved on this one is because he didn't suit up for practice initially on Wednesday. He ended up suiting up towards the end, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were not initially going to practice. I'm not sure what the injury was, but I do think that this is a must win for the Bengals. They have to win almost every game leading up to the playoffs if they want a legitimate shot here. And I know that's not lost on Jamar Chase because what did he tell us a few weeks ago? He's always fucking open. So 7-Eleven. So I do like the at least 2 touchdowns here. And if you're going to tail this bet and you're not confident in Jamar Chase, I think that it's worth doing a little bit of research and picking someone on the Bengals offense to sub in for at least 2 tutties, because that's what's going to get this line up. And I do think that their offense, they're going to have 1 clutch scorer this weekend.
Makes sense. The Bengals 2 tutty parlay. I like it.
Yeah.
You want to know what I don't like this week is the football cheat sheet. So we're not going to do it. Don't play the fucking music. Don't hit us with the intro.
I do have one. I do have one that I can
never mind. It's back. Just like that.
I do have one. And I saw it on the internet, so I can't take full credit, but it is really funny. I don't know if you watched the game last night, but on the internet, they're referring to it as the Ass Bowl, and they're congratulating the Bears for winning the Ass Bowl because it was a game for, and ladies, this is good background info for when you talk to your mans about it. It was the game for who's going to get the first round pick next.
Got it.
This upcoming draft. But the thing is that the Panthers.
The Bears needed to beat the Panthers because they had their pick.
Yes. So the Panthers would have had a first round pick. Bears got it. So now with the win, the Bears are in a position to have pick number 1 and pick number 2 of the NFL draft this year.
Yep.
So
46%, I saw today, 46% chance the Bears have the first overall pick, and they also stink. So they're going to have 2 top 5 picks, realistically.
Exactly. So congrats to the Bears for winning the Ass Bowl.
Yep. And also
the NFL's in-season tournament.
Early congrats to the Bears for absolutely no doubt taking a offensive tackle no one's ever heard of with the 3rd or 4th pick from fucking Iowa or Wyoming or whatever, and then the guy's gonna stink. So double congratulations to them for not only getting the pick but also completely fucking it up, which they will do. You want to know what, Mike? I think it's time you hit them with the sirens. It's not an emergency, but it is urgent. We've got live alerts. We've both got a few of them here that I really like. I'm just going to rip through mine quickly because they're all kind of tied together here. We've been talking about the Packers and their inability to play first half football for quite some time now. It is the bet. The Packers to lose the first half is fucking free every week.
Yeah.
With that said, after they lose the first half, for whatever reason, they're in every game. So I'm taking the Packers inevitably at plus 9.5. And if I can get to that line at some point in the first half, I'm going to pound it. That 9.5 number is very enticing for these style of games that will be low scoring. I've been watching this. I'm looking at it a lot. Double-digit victories are hard to come by in games where both teams are not great. I think that's what we're getting here, and 9.5 is that lucky number to me. With that being said, and I am fading my own Saints a little bit here, I think the Vikings stick to that same script. I think the Vikings go down early. If I can get them at plus 9.5, I'm all over it. There's going to be obviously a little bit of pressure now on the Vikings moving forward after not winning the after a big comeback victory. So the Vikings at plus 9.5 seems free to me. And I like Levis in the Titans on the money line at plus 225 if I can get it there. He seems like a rally behind me, play from behind style quarterback. So that's going to be my money line. Live alert. I'm going to watch that Titans game like a hawk. If he's looking good, if they go down early, I think we could see a second half comeback there. So it's Packers, Vikings plus 9.5, Titans money line at plus 225. Those are my live alert bets for this week. Pren, who do you got?
So I've got two teams that I think kind of seem like a no-brainer. The first being the Ravens. So while I think that Cleveland will ultimately come away with the W, the Ravens, what I've noticed this season is that when they start to pull away early, personally, I live bet the spread. And they haven't not covered the spread for me this year so far. It ends up being free cash because the spread will be set at like 7.5, 14. I've even taken it so far as 20.5. I took them at 20.5 against the Seahawks this past weekend. And if they do start to pull away quickly, I'm live betting the Ravens spread to hedge the earlier Cleveland money line parlay.
Yeah. So you see it being a Ravens blowout or a close game that the Browns win.
Right. Yep.
Got it.
Absolutely. And the thing with the Ravens is that last season you would see them pull away in the first half of the game. They'd be leading by like 21 points or something crazy, and then they would absolutely blow the lead. So this season, that hasn't really happened. They're able to hold on to that lead and they're able to add to it. So if they pull away quickly, I'm going to hedge the Cleveland money line parlay and I'm going to bet the spread with the Ravens. I'm also going to bet the spread with Dallas to double down on my. Oh, I guess it's a part of the same parlay. Yeah.
But I mean, it could change. I think what this is looking at is like you're just going to continue to fire on Dallas at alternate lines.
Yep, exactly. And once you see that live line move, especially like when the score is 0-0, whoever scores the first touchdown, there's usually like a little bit of a gray area. Won't be the Giants, but there's usually a little bit of a gray area where sometimes the spread will go back to like a touchdown and a half because they just scored for whatever reason. So I'm going to be watching this because the Giants are going to lose by a lot. And I'm going to take
this just brought a bet to mind too that people may want to look at is most books offer a will a team score 3 times in a row option. I don't think it'll be great odds here. I would put it somewhere around minus 200. That is fucking free. Dallas will score 3 times in a row. Now that includes safeties, field goals, whatever it is, touchdowns, obviously defensive, offensive. It's any style 3 scores straight. And I'll be pounding that. That line's usually only available as things start to get started. And if I can get that early on Sunday, I'm going to obliterate that line. Dallas to score 3 times straight. Honestly, it's usually either team. It's will either team score? Will there be 3 straight scores by either team? And my answer is yes. We are on to our girl dinner bets of the week. You're going to start us off because I'm going to have to muster up the courage to even say these words. So
I can see what it is. I'd like the little smiley face next to it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start us off. It's a little crazy. It's at plus 1350. So I've got going back to the shirt. I've got the Cincinnati money line, Detroit money line, I've got the Vikings to win by 2.5. Eckler anytime TD, St. Brown anytime TD
Love it.
at plus 1350. It's high. It's a hodgepodge. It just might hit.
It just might hit. It's a stir fry, if you will. Well, here's one that isn't a hodgepodge and one that I don't even honestly feel comfortable with. At this point, I'm doing it just because I can't stop betting on these goddamn Broncos. Give me Broncos money line. I don't know why. I got a feeling. I know I took the Bills at home in my Homer Simpson parlay, but I'm going to hedge that a little bit because on Monday night, I want to have money on both sides. So this one looks like Broncos money line all the way for your boy. And if I get the opportunity to pound it live, I'm going to. Jerry Jeudy, 3 touchdowns in a Broncos win. My fantasy team blows out informally Tim, who's my buddy Sam. I don't know why his name is Tim, but Broncos money line. It's a guarantee. Girl dinner bet of the week. Lock it in, baby. And let's recap our current season status because mine took a big fucking hit last week. And I want to see, honestly, where I'm at. It's seeming like we've started to turn things around a little bit. On the season, I am now looking at plus 869. I'm under 1,000 for the first time in a few weeks with a $500 loss. Last week, we've got to turn this thing around. It's going to happen if you've been betting all our tracked bets, plus our girl dinners and our live alerts. With me, you're currently up $869.82. That's not bad. Let's pop over to Pren's ledger real quick to get her season recap. And when we do that, you will find that it's a tight race because after an $84 win, she's up to 786. So just a few American dollars separates the two of us. It's go time. If you've taken all our bets, though, you are plus about 15 units and your pockets are fat moving into the holiday season, and you're going to be getting a local organic turkey, okay? No butter balls for you. You'll be going to the farm stand and getting a Fat Boy Slim. I don't know what I'm saying. I've had about 6 coffees.
I love it. I'm here for it. Maybe you need to have 6 coffees before every recording because the vocabulary is on point.
I'm just chirping at this point. I don't know even what I'm saying. But I do know this. Episode 10 of the Betsies podcast has come to a close, and it was quick, it was efficient, and God damn it, it felt good in my loins. So there's that. And we hope that you tail our bets, comment on tailing our bets, and that we can get you guys some beer money for the weekend. I'm Devin Walker.
And I'm Ashley Pren.
And you all are little freaks that we love. And we'll see you next time.